Question is to ask the Minister for Social Protection if she will ensure measures are taken so as to align the pay of 2 supervisors with CE supervisors. And if you make a statement on the matter, well, I'll expand the question slightly to an RSS because I understand the negotiations took place with them together.
Thank you, Deputy. And I'm not sure if you were in the chamber earlier, but at risk of repeating myself, I'll give an answer and we can elaborate and go a different direction with it. But my department operates a number of employment support schemes, including community employment, TUS and the Rural Social Scheme for long-term unemployed persons and low-income farmers. I would like to acknowledge the important role played by TUS supervisors in providing valuable opportunities to participants and in supporting the delivery of key services to local communities across the country. As TUS supervisors are employees of the individual implementing bodies, neither the department nor the state is the employer of this group of workers. Nevertheless, recognising the valuable role they play in delivering services on behalf of the department, officials from the department continue to hold meetings with representative associations to discuss employment-related matters. As I've already stated, and as part of this regular engagement, department officials have met with the union and employing companies' representative groups in relation to a claim seeking pay parity of TUS and RSS supervisors with CE supervisors. As outlined in an earlier reply, there is a difference in the supervisor roles, with CE supervisors having a key role in drawing up and supervising individual participant learning and development plans. As a consequence, we would expect the service fees paid to the service providers to reflect this difference in scope. Having said that, the department, in its role as funder of the programmes, is open to proposals and suggestions from the implementing bodies. It's important to note that this is not a matter for determination by the department alone, and that any proposal that might be brought forward will be subject to the approval of the Department of Public Expenditure, NDP Delivery and Reform, and will need to stand on its own merits. My officials continue to be available to liaise with the union and employing companies' representatives in relation to the issue. I trust this clarifies the matter for the Deputy.
My understanding is there were negotiations between the unions and the department, and that at official level there were proposals put together, and that these were then sent over to the Department of Public Expenditure, as all such changes inevitably have to be. Can you tell me when were those proposals sent over to the Department of Public Expenditure, and what response came back from them in either the form of a further information request, a refusal, or agreement to it? Because, as I said, I do understand the negotiations concluded and that a proposal was forwarded.
Thank you, Deputy. With a view of getting the best outcome for everyone here, I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of it as well. Like, we've had 2 successful processes over the last couple of years in terms of securing the gratuity for CE supervisors and the 5% increase as well. I've put a lot of work in on them 2 processes in the background, and I've been asked questions about them while they were in process in this chamber as well. And for the benefit of those processes, I've held off on detail, saying that negotiations are not complete. I would say it was to my knowledge, it's an exploratory phase at the moment. There was an additional meeting scheduled for November that had to be postponed for good reasons. There was no other motives other than that in terms of availability issues or practical issues that didn't mean it was viable. My understanding is there is going to be an attempt to reschedule that meeting before Christmas. That may be difficult for simple practical reasons of availability as well.
Minister, I think in a written reply on the issue of the gratuities, it seemed to give me a lot more information than is available here today. I can't understand how these processes go on so long as they do. It's been a failure of many governments to reform the system so that we get quicker decisions. In fact, if anything, things are getting slower and slower and slower over my period in the House. And I think this is a matter of concern. And the answers always seem to be inevitable, but the processes seem to be a lot longer and a lot more convoluted, and much less satisfaction out of them in the end of the day as a consequence.
Thank you, Deputy. Look, from my point of view, this is, I suppose, the third pay-related issue that I've been involved in. I've worked to progress the previous two. We got the gratuity issue sorted. That was going on for a very long time. It came to my table, I progressed it, it's done. We had the pay claim issue. We worked through that as quickly as we could. That 5% increase has now been done, both parts of it, earlier this year and the second half in November as well. And then this one is on my table now as well. So I suppose that's the best reassurance that I can give you, that while the issue might be long-standing, it's live and active on my desk, realistically with a couple of months. And as I said earlier on as well, I meet with officials on a weekly basis. We discuss RSS 2s and C on a weekly basis, and we'll be doing so again next week. So there's interest in making sure things progress from my point of view.